What up? What up? What up? I'm gonna let people come in. I'm gonna post this on Twitter quick. You know how it goes. You know what it's like on a social media wave. Hope you guys can hear DBD Gatsby in the background. Yeah, DBD was at the Philly Card Show yesterday. Uh, we saw our fans there. Got recognized a couple times. We even saw Sports Card Investigator. It was a pleasure as always. Uh, can this heart get out of the way? Any Any plans to start CEH today? It's a tough one. I think if you have to, it's someone who it's a high upside play. Pacheco is a game time decision. If Pacheco plays, then no, CEH is not someone you want in your lineup. But if Pacheco doesn't play, especially if someone has Pacheco and CEH, then I think that's if Pacheco doesn't play, that's an easy plug right there. But if I have other options, I'm probably going there. But if you just want to have some fun and say, hey, CEH is getting 2 touchdowns today, who am I to stop you? Share this. Last time the Chiefs played the Bears, Kelsey had 6 touchdowns. Yeah, if y'all want to see my complete breakdown, check out. You can see it in 15 minutes or less. But I do think Kelsey's gonna have a game. Him and Mahomes. I think this is their coming out game this week. I could see 2 touchdowns from Kelsey. I'm locking in 20+ points from Kelsey today. To be honest, I feel it. He's a little bit quiet. I feel like that touchdown got him back into it. Obviously, it was his first week playing, but he looked good last week. It was just a tough overall game. Uh, that was it, Jacksonville versus the Chiefs, but I see a big one coming from Travis Kelsey. Yo, DVD Gatsby, who are you starting today? Are we starting? Who's on my team? Let me see mine. Let me talk through how I'm thinking about my lineup right now. See some starting sit questions. You can kind of see my thought process here. I'm gonna pull up the injuries in a second too. So I'm starting Kendre Miller. That's one. I have Austin Eckler. He's out, but I feel really confident starting Kendre Miller this week. I think, as I talked about Clyde Edwards-Helaire and kind of how he's a fun start. I definitely think that Kendre Miller's a much more safe, high upside start, and I'm starting him in most situations. I have Nico Collins in my flex, so I feel really confident there, and Keenan Allen in my other flex. So there's not anyone else I would think to plug in. I do have Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I do have him, and I don't wish there was a way that I'd be starting him because, that would mean that one of my other guys got hurt, but, I wouldn't be mad at it if I had him there. Brandon Cooks is someone I have on my team. He scares me. I wanna see him. I'm not out on him. I just wanna see him have a game, first before anything happens, and I throw him back into the lineup. I had him in there week 1. Obviously, he was hurt week 2, but, yeah, just someone who I'm not excited about at the moment. Let me see here. Let's pull up the injury reports. What have been the announcements? Great news on the Nick Chubb injury. Also wild. I have no idea how that injury only resulted in a torn MCL, but sounds like he should be able to. Sounds like he should be able to have a big game. Let me see if I can get DBD Dan in here. Got to figure out how to do this. Edit. Is there a way to get someone else in here? Participants? No. Share? No. Hey, people in the hallway, don't you know we're running a full-fledged fantasy football podcast in here? Keep it down, please. Thank you. No, I don't want to send feedback. Come on now. All right, until I figure this out. We're gonna get DBD Dan in here. He's coming back from LA today. No major injuries though in Cleveland or Pittsburgh. I was saying this yesterday. Kenny Gainwell is going to be back and healthy. Don't feel confident starting DeAndre Swift. Like I said, I really hope he does get a ton of the carries, and I do think he should be the one. But I also want to keep our running backs fresh going into, and by our, I want to keep the running backs fresh going into the playoffs. So I know it's a long way away and a lot can happen, but as of right now, I wouldn't be shocked to see another game where Kenny Gainwell gets the majority of the carries. Also, all the cornerbacks you got James Bradbury and you got am I blanking on his name? Reed Blankenship. They're both back. So I wouldn't be as excited about starting Tampa Bay wide receivers as some people might be. I would say Mike Evans is the one you want there. I want fantasy football injuries. Not every injury. As important as they are for football. A little hard to sort through. Here we go. Odell Beckham's out, like I said. Zay Flowers is absolutely a start. Uh I am not starting Rashad Bateman. So Nathan, Zach Moss or Jerome Ford? I'm going Zach Moss. I do not like that matchup at all for Cleveland. I'm confused. Why was it showing me like injuries from way before? I was like, that's not even a game going on. Yeah, no, I'm not starting Jerome Ford. Shout out Joey on the streets. Um, Elijah Moore, Christian Watson, if he plays. That's a tough one. You know, I don't like either either of those situations, but actually no, I'm going Elijah Moore. I'm going Elijah Moore for sure. Christian Watson is someone who I don't think he's gonna be the lead guy when he comes back. I like Jaden Reed. I like Romeo Dubs. But I do think the Browns are going to have to throw a lot, especially with Nick Chubb out. So I do like Elijah Moore there. Shout out Joey. Whatever link they were showing me for injuries at the start was not helpful. It's starting back at like I think it was week 1 games. Cordell Patterson questionable. I'm not starting Cordell Patterson ever at this point. Algiers great. Bijan's great. Bijan's the truth. Let me tell you that that angle from above was next level. What else we got here? Amon Ra questionable. That one scares me to be honest. It's a toe injury. Toe injuries are tough for receivers. I'm actually shocked that he's didn't have injuries as this wasn't covered more, I should say. He practiced, and I'm surprised by that, but maybe it's not as bad as it looked or sounded. They said he put like a full steel plate in his shoe. I'm not thrilled about. I mean, obviously you're starting Amon Ra, but that's one to keep an eye on. And I also wouldn't be shocked if it becomes something that he has to sit out at some point due to it. Those are not fun injuries. Jahmyr Gibbs, I think you're starting him. I'm not excited about that either, though. I really just don't trust Dan Campbell. That Lions offense, like and this isn't even hate on the Lions. The Lions, I do, it is hate. They're frauds, but I'll hear you out. They have potential, and I think they have a lot of weapons. I don't think Dan Campbell knows how to use them though. Anthony Richardson out. Like I said in the cap, I think Minshew could be a start, and I also like the receivers, Josh Downs for sure if you're in a deeper league, and Michael Pittman. Well, they said they're gonna feature Gibbs today. They also said they were gonna use him like we've never seen before, and I guess that's using him on the bench. Matt, what up? Need two: Rashad White, McLaurin, Cooper, Zach Moss. I'm benching Rashad White. I think I'm starting Amari Cooper and Zach Moss in this one. McLaurin, you could sneak in there instead of really any of them. It's really between McLaurin, Cooper, and Moss. Moss was impressive. His first game back. I was kind of nervous about him going into that, but he played great. So I think I'm going Cooper. Like I said, I think the Browns are going to have to throw a lot, and they will throw a lot. And I think I'm going to go Zach Moss instead of McLaurin. McLaurin looked nice. He had a nice touchdown. Let's go. I'm gonna change it. Cooper and McLaurin. Got you. But yeah, Rashad White. To elaborate on that, I did that. Eagles run defense is insane. Jordan Davis, all the young guys, even like Fletcher Cox is playing like the Fletcher Cox of 3 years ago. I do think the Eagles are gonna come out rolling, and they're gonna have to throw a lot. And I think the game plan for uh, Tampa Bay is gonna be to throw a lot in general. Austin Eckler out. Like I said, I have him on my dynasty team. I really want him back, but he really I like I said, he talks about fantasy, so he'll come on and be very upfront with him. He said he's gonna be back soon. We got Dan calling in. Yo, DBD Dan. All right, we have a couple in here already. Let's see what you said. What you would say from any difference from mine. We got Zach Moss or Jerome Ford in a standard league.
I think I have to go Jerome Ford.
Interesting. I said the Tennessee run defense scares me.
Yeah, that's fair. I do think Jerome Ford is a start now weekly. I think they're going to run the ball a lot. Can continue to run the ball. Obviously, he's not going to tell, but that offense isn't going to change very much.
We have another one here. Also, can people hear Dan in the chat? Hey, chat, what's up? Can people hear Dan in here? Yeah. It said Dan is hard to hear. I have it right up here. Hopefully people can hear this. But to elaborate, Dan, yeah.
Right now, I'm going to be flying to Atlanta. Might get stuck in Atlanta once again. Kyle Pitts will not get any receptions this week. Sorry if you're a Kyle Pitts owner out there.
I see that we're different in a lot of takes. I said this is going to be a week where Zach Moss is or Kyle Pitts is getting a touchdown. I feel it.
No, he definitely could get a touchdown. I just think that still he's going to have it inconsistent. I mean, that
But to reiterate too, what Dan said, he's going Jerome Ford over Zach Moss. He thinks he's an every week starter.
I think I like Zach Moss too. He looks good,
Yep.
but
We got one from Joey on the streets. He said Elijah Moore or Christian Watson if he plays.
I think you got to go Christian Watson. In theory, Christian Watson is the wide receiver one there. Still, at least it was supposed to be coming into the season.
So Dan's going Christian Watson. Another differing opinion, and I did get a message from Joey on the streets himself, and he said he's starting Christian Watson either way. So
Okay.
he agrees with you. Next one we got from Matt in the chat. He said not Grove, but different Matt. We got Rashad White. You have to pick two. Rashad White, McLaurin, Amari Cooper, Zach Moss.
Rashad White, McLaurin, Zach Moss, and who?
Amari Cooper.
Okay, you got to go Amari Cooper.
Yep.
And then who is it again?
Rashad White, Terry McLaurin, and Zach Moss.
I guess you go Terry McLaurin, but I would lean Zach Moss also.
That was my exact thought process. I said Rashad White's the easy sit. Amari Cooper, I think, has to be in there. And then I said Zach Moss, but I'm like, I don't know. McLaurin has been he's been playing well to start the year. And he's been more of the feature receiver than Dotson. So I kind of flip between the two.
Yeah, Dotson hasn't been disappointing so far this season, to be honest.
Not for like a dynasty redraft. I feel like I personally expected more points out of him.
Yeah, for sure.
What another one, not really a starter sit question, but what are your thoughts on Clyde Edwards-Helaire this week with Isaiah Pacheco potentially out?
I think it's going to be hard to read if we're going to use him on McKinnon.
Yeah, I lean the way of McKinnon's going to be a receiving. He doesn't really just get carries after carries, so I think they're going to give Edwards-Helaire a lot if he doesn't. I said it's a risky start, but you could lean that way if you're in bad shape.
Yeah, I agree. All right, I think I got a good set for my flight here.
For sure.
I just found out that there's no live TV on the slate, and I thought there was, so wish me luck out here. I don't think I'm gonna be watching football until tonight.
You're gonna land, and you're either gonna have a great surprise of your a win coming to your team, or you're gonna be like severely disappointed. It's just gonna ruin landing.
Yeah. 100%.
All right. Well, appreciate you answering, and we'll be back at it this week.
Shout out to everyone for all the questions. Go DBD.
Peace. All right, so I feel like me and Dan are gonna have a lot to talk about when he gets back on here. We're differentiating in a lot of picks here. Who else we got here? Jalen Waddle. I didn't even realize he was in concussion protocol, but he's out. Tyreek Hill's a start in every situation. This guy. What should you do with Nick Chubb? In redraft leagues, you're dropping Nick Chubb. He's not going to be back this year, but in Dynasty, don't panic. I'm keeping him on the team. I think he's going to come back and still be in RB1, RB2 range. So, yeah, you can most definitely. Actually, no, Jake, you should start him. You should start Nick Chubb. Shout out to not one of our sponsors, Unkin Donuts. Just kidding, Dunkin'. Cam Akers, unlikely to be active. I'm not starting him regardless. I'm not starting Alexander Madison either. That's just a situation I'm staying away from. I do love Kirk Cousins. I think you're starting him in almost every week at this point. He's one of the, I think he's a top 3 quarterback right now in points. DeAndre Hopkins, questionable. I still don't like Treylon Burks starting him even if DeAndre Hopkins is out. He's someone who I think is always going to be that deep flex play. DJ Moore or Michael Pittman. I'm going Michael Pittman all day. The Bears offense is just brutal. Or the Bears in general. It's just a scary situation. So DJ Moore, as talented as he is, he even said himself they're not using him right. Michael Pittman, I think Gardner Minshew actually brings Pittman up. I wasn't huge on Pittman going into the year, but he's been awesome to start the year. And I think he could have even more receiving potential with Minshew playing. Plus, in games like this, Minshew just goes crazy. Like the first game that he plays when he's like not supposed to, he'll go out and just like throw for 350 and three touchdowns. What other injuries? Going on to the 4 o'clock games. Bryce Young out, Andy Dalton coming in. To be honest, I didn't know Andy Dalton was still in the league, but that'll be a fun one to watch. Uh, I Thielen, maybe if you're in a tough situation and you need a receiver, Thielen finds ways to score touchdowns. I do think he's actually underrated as far as fantasy goes at this point. Miles Sanders, someone I think, especially with Andy Dalton coming in, I think that could be a play. Kadarius Tony, I think he's droppable at this point. You don't need Kadarius Tony. I don't care if he catches a 90-yard touchdown next week. You don't need him. We talked about Pacheco and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. The tough thing, and the reason I say Clyde Edwards-Helaire is probably someone you're only starting if you also have Isaiah Pacheco, is it's a 4 o'clock game. There's really not that many games after, so I I'm probably it's only like a plug and play there for me. DK is expected to start. That's good news. Uh, I like all Seattle wide receivers or pass catchers in general. I like all Seattle offense. Kenneth Walker, I also like. And that's really the only major injuries. But they think Amon Ra is going to play. That's what they're saying. So let's see. People who want a good prop pick for today. I know this is a prize picks one, but it really could you could pick the prop for anything. It's probably the same. Let's see what it is on FanDuel. But Nico Collins, he's currently at 50. He was 54 and a half on prize picks. Let's see what he is on FanDuel. Because yeah, they're gonna throw a lot. They do throw a lot in general. I like CJ Stroud. Um, Let me see. I see you, Chris. Let me look this up real quick, and I got you. Where are we at? Texans. Nico Collins, yeah, 54 and a half on FanDuel too. I think that's a smash play. Dolphins defense or Titans defense. Uh, who are the Dolphins playing? Let me pull up the matchups. One of these days, I'm just gonna have those memorized. Ooh, we got Dolphins versus Broncos, and then we got Tennessee versus Cleveland. I think I'm going Miami defense there. Um, I think Cleveland's gonna have a day through the air. It's a tough play. Defenses are just so tough. I really do think defense is a lot of just making your best educated guess and using your gut. And my gut's telling me to go with Miami. All right, let's pull up some of my other leagues. I have some brutal injuries. Let's see. Walk through some of my teams over here. Hear my thought process and what bad decisions I make to start players here. Uh, I had Jalen Waddle as an injury. Who'd I plug and play in that? Brian Robinson. Brian Robinson, someone who I still am not all the way in on, but I feel like he's getting in that every week starter range. Tutu Atwell though, that's someone I want to talk about. We all know Puka. You've heard people talk about Puka Nakua all day. Arguably the best wide receiver name combo of all time. Puka Nakua and Tutu Atwell. Tutu Atwell is someone who I'm thrilled to have on my team at all times, to be honest. I think he's also someone who I'm gonna start. He's a great him and Tank Dell are kind of those undersized wide receivers who are proving that they can compete. Doesn't matter their size. I think Devontae Smith kind of started to show the new wave of that mold, and they're players who are not as good as Devontae Smith, but I mean, I guess Puka Nakua is arguably he's not as good as Devontae Smith, but like he's on that trajectory for sure if he keeps this up. But I guess I wasn't talking about Puka. I was talking about Tutu Atwell and Tank Dell. But they're not again, they're not at that level of Devontae Smith. I know we were talking about DJ Moore. I am starting him, but that's mostly just due to other injuries. It would be between him. I mean, I could throw Dubs in there. That's a good one. Let's think that one through. We got Dubs against New Orleans or DJ Moore. I don't know. I feel like I wish I had better options. You know, the more I talk this out, I think I am gonna go, especially against Kansas City. We're gonna throw Dubs in there. Well, it's gonna be windy in New Orleans. I know that. Kansas City's gonna be nice. I don't trust Brandon Cooks. Yeah, we're gonna keep DJ Moore in there. I'm also already starting Jaden Reed, so that plays into it too. I think if I wasn't already starting Jaden Reed, I'd be starting Romeo Dubs. We got 2 hours till game time, and let's see. Let's pull up Twitter. Let's see what's going on Twitter. Let's make some picks for who I think is gonna win each of these games here. All right, let's go through this. All right, we got Tennessee, Cleveland. I'm taking Tennessee money line in this. I think they're gonna pull this one out. I don't. I feel like this is gonna be one of those games that Cleveland just starts to implode with. Different league. Do I sit Wilson for Drake London? Ooh, Garrett Wilson for Drake London. I'm gonna say yes. Now, don't. I mean, yes. Hold me accountable if I'm wrong. I actually do hold me accountable. That the weather in that New York Jets game and New England game is going to be brutal. I do think that Belichick's going to find a way to somewhat do his best to contain Garrett Wilson. I don't know for sure. It- It's like he's so talented. It's like I don't think there's a way to physically like completely stop him. But Drake London, I do think scoring. I said either Kyle Pitts or Drake London's going to score a touchdown. Detroit are some frauds. Atlanta's going to win that game. I think Drake London is someone who I feel confident starting. I'm going to say Drake London over Garrett Wilson. Hot take. No one else gives you hot takes like these besides DBD. Jake, and if Drake London outscores Garrett Wilson, you gotta subscribe to us. You gotta resubscribe. For those of you who don't know, uh, we're being held. It's a petty. It's petty, holding me accountable for falling asleep during a movie when I was supposed to play a video game. I was supposed to get on, play some Madden, maybe some Fortnite, but I fell asleep. So we lost a producer, honestly. So we really hope we can rekindle this relationship with DBD Jake, who you've seen from episode to episode. He made a couple appearances, cheesesteak reviews, Q&As, even what was in Dan's spot for a moment. I don't even know how to really describe that. You would have to watch our last box break fantasy challenge, which Dan still owes me a cheesesteak for. That'll be the next cheesesteak review. My vote is for Malvern Pizza, underrated. Malvern Pizza is going to be next up. One of the best cheesesteaks not in actual Philly, in my opinion. One second, I need some water. All right, we back. Don't worry, we're back. I know you guys see the DBD skeleton up here. It's actually wasn't intentionally bought for that, nor did I buy it. So yeah, it's at Target. We're a DBD supplier Target, where we got our stuff in there. I need to get red zone is what I need. Joshua Kelly or Kendre Miller. Wow, those are two great options. And I know how high I am on Kendre Miller, but I'm going Joshua Kelly. That is a phenomenal matchup. I think I Joshua Kelly was a bench last week because they were going up against Tennessee, and is the same reason I'm saying to bench Jerome Ford this week. But Joshua Kelly, I think, has to be in everyone's starting lineup if he's on your team. I do like Kendre a lot, and Kendre very might have just as good of a game, but I feel way more confident in Joshua Kelly going in there. Going back, let's see some more picks here. We got and feel free throw your predictions in here too. Like I want y'all talking to me. I'm not I just talk here on the episodes. That's when whatever I say goes. But here, y'all are in here. Ask me questions, say your opinions. We can go back and forth. I'm ready. I'll debate all day. We got Chargers Vikings. I think Chargers pull this one out. Vikings, I feel like are in a weird shape. What's up, Nate? We got Jahan Dotson, Elijah Moore, or Roshan Johnson. Flex PPR. I think I'm gonna go Elijah Moore for sure, and I'm gonna go Jahan Dotson. While Dotson hasn't been the as good as I thought he'd be to start the year, I think he's at any week he can just go crazy. I do think that connection with Sam Howell's there, and like the Bears just I don't trust the Bears offense in general. Plus, they're going up against Kansas City. I think they're going to be having to throw a lot, and I think maybe even Justin Fields is going to feel the need to prove that he can throw the ball downfield, and he's going to run a lot himself. So I'm going Dotson and Moore. Oh, is it? If it's just one, I'm going Elijah Moore. I just read that again. If you can only pick one, I'm going Elijah Moore. If it's two, Jahan Dotson. That's how I rank them: Elijah Moore, Jahan Dotson, Roshan Johnson. Got you. Who else we got here? Dolphins, Denver. I think Miami's going to win this game. I think it may be a tough one. It could be I think the offense may struggle a tiny bit, especially without Waddle. Tyreek's going to go crazy, but I think Miami wins this one straight up. Like I said before, I think Atlanta beats Detroit. Detroit, they're the hype was unreal. Again, they're a good team, but they're not as good as people think they are. Jacksonville, Houston. I love Jacksonville. Jacksonville might be like my favorite non Eagle team right now. Calvin Ridley's as good as he was before he was. And again, it's not like he was injured. And I truly think he was ready for the comeback. He wants to prove people wrong. It's not really proving people wrong. It's more just a situation that was unfortunate for him. And he's coming back but almost better than he was. And I last game doesn't scare me either. Christian Kirk is a great player. I think Christian Kirk, he was someone who was so undervalued the last couple years. But I do think Calvin Ridley is the clear one there. Uh, and I like ETN as well. I like Trevor Lawrence. It's a fun offense. And Dougie P. How can you not like Dougie P? But I like a lot of Texans players. CJ Stroud's my favorite or my favorite rookie quarterback for this year's fantasy football. He throws so much already, and Nico Collins has been amazing. He's the seventh overall scoring wide receiver. He's really good. Tank Dell's been playing really well. Damian Pierce is someone who still I don't know exactly what to think of him honestly. But that'll be a fun game honestly. Said honestly a couple times there. Here's an interesting one: Colts Ravens. I think Minshew could do it. I do. I do. I think in terms of like if you're looking at picks, the 7.5 for Indy is very interesting. Baltimore's good though. I mean, they're undefeated. Uh, Zay Flowers has been phenomenal. Their running back situation still something we'll figure out. But I mean, obviously, when you have Lamar Jackson, that running back position isn't as important. Uh, not as important, but they can cover that position better than most teams would be able to. But I do like 7.5. That's a lot of points. And Pittman Downs, the Indy offense hasn't looked bad, but again, like it was with Anthony Richardson. So we'll see what happens. New Orleans, Green Bay, that'll be another fun one. A lot of dynasty players going there that are kinda in redraft not as relevant, but in dynasty are huge players. Like I said, Kendre Miller, obviously, like, you have Olave out there and, Juwan Johnson for a tight end's a fun one for dynasty. And then Green Bay too, you got Jaden Reed, who I'm a huge fan of. You got who else we got out there? You got Romeo Dubs. Christian Watson could make his return. That's something who I think is one of the most interesting and should be one of the biggest headlines for Dynasty right now is seeing what Christian Watson does to the other receivers there and what he looks like himself. Going into the season, he was easily the clear one, but I don't think he is anymore. Okay, we got Nakua, Pickens, AJ Brown, and Lockett. Eliminate one of them. You got some great options there. I think I'm definitely keeping Nakua and AJ in there. I think AJ is gonna have a huge game. Again, take it with what you will, but I think this is the game where the passing game for Philly just goes crazy. I'm not as to show you that I'm not just saying that I'm not as high on DeAndre Swift or any running back still. Pickens has looked good, but I feel like a lot of that's dependent on his long touchdown. I'm eliminating Pickens though. Uh, I think he has potentially higher upside than Lockett, but I'm going Nakua, AJ, and Lockett there. Man, Puka, it's like it's unreal. He's on pace to like shatter every record. Obviously, I don't. It's not sustainable, I think, but like he's at the point where you can't trade for him in redraft or dynasty. I want to see here. Let's see what people are saying. Let's see if there's questions that I could find on Twitter here. I guess let's finish the games. What I think about them. But in that, I think New Orleans. I think I'm going New Orleans in this one. I think Derek Carr is an underrated NFL quarterback, not fantasy, but I do think New Orleans pulls this one out. Buffalo Commanders. I think Buffalo wins this game, but don't be shocked if the Commanders do. The Commanders, I was talking to my dad yesterday, and he made a good point, and he thinks they're gonna be like that team that just finds ways to win games, similar to the Giants making the playoffs last year. Detroit, they obviously didn't make the playoffs, but won a lot of games last year and kind of became like America's sweetheart. And I think the Commanders could be that. I do like Sam Howell. I like Dotson. I do like McLaurin, but I think Buffalo is just too good of a team there. Herbert or Roshan Johnson. That's tough. Assuming Khalil Herbert. I guess Roshan Johnson. I think you can honestly flip a coin there. But I'm gonna say Roshan. For fun. I just want to see where they have them on. Yeah, it's like 30 and 33 on Fantasy Pros. It's really flipping a coin. But I think Roshan. I think they need to just find ways to mix things up in Chicago. So I think Roshan Johnson's the way to go. Let's see what else we got. So I'm going Bills money line. Not I think Commanders could have it with the points. Jets New England. That the weather in this game is going to be a headline that is like one of those underrated fantasy things to look at. Is the weather there? It's ugly. The winds are bad. Already two good defenses. Like I said, we had in the chat here we had Jake. He said um, Garrett Wilson or Drake London. And I may be crazy for giving this advice, but I said I'm going Drake London. The weather, New England's defense, Zach Wilson at quarterback. Those are just too many factors to where I do think Drake London has a good game today. I think I'm going Drake. We got Seattle, Carolina. I think Seattle pulls this one out, especially without Bryce Young in there and Andy Dalton coming out of retirement. I didn't know he was still playing. But I like Seattle money line. Dallas, Arizona. what do you think is going to happen? There's no way Jonathan Gannon's winning that game. I do like Dallas, but the one player who I think is an interesting one to watch for fantasy is Dak Prescott. He has not been a great fantasy quarterback. He hasn't had to be uh, someone who's going to put up points like that in fantasy because they're just blowing teams out by with Tony Pollard. He's been awesome. Uh, I've it looks like he could be a top 10 running back, especially now with all the injuries. So that take will be one that you'll want to go back in our stream and pull in roast us about. But yeah, Tony Pollard looks good, and I'm scared. I'm a Dak Prescott owner in Dynasty, and he's someone who I just got Kirk Cousins. That kind of saved. I also had Aaron Rodgers, but getting Kirk Cousins as I think QB1 now over Dak Prescott for sure for fantasy. Chiefs Bears Chiefs. I think got this one. I'm saying Chiefs money line though. Uh, the Bears, it's just like who knows? Maybe Justin Fields runs for 260 yards or something crazy. It's just like one of those where it's like there's no way that situation is as bad as it seems, but it very well might be. Steelers Raiders. That's an interesting one. The what I was think is the biggest headline is the running backs there. Josh Jacobs has looked brutal this year, but I think this is a game he turns it around. And I said he's a buy low option up until after this week. So I think this is a week where he's gonna get that value back. Now, other hand, Najee Harris. There's film of him where he looks really slow last week, going but he also broke tackles in reverse field completely. So it's like people weren't catching up to him there. So you gotta kind of take it piece by piece. But Najee Harris, I'm way more out than I am in. And if he does have a bad week, his value is gonna plummet. And I also like James Washington, but I also don't think it's all Najee Harris's fault. But again, in fantasy, you have to take everything into account, even if it's not their fault. What's up, Jim? We got PPR Hubbard, Johnson, or Ken. I'm assuming Kendre Miller, and I'm going Kendre Miller all day there. I think this is going to be the Kendre Miller breakout game. Perfect situation for him. He's completely healthy now. They held him out for precautionary reasons. I was a huge guy. I was a huge Kendre Miller guy coming into the season. He had hamstring injuries, but he's healthy. No Jamal Williams. Alvin Kamara is out. I think he's going to have a big game. I'm going Kendre Miller there. I think Eagles win this one against Tampa. I'm going money. I would say money line though. I don't like the spread. Spreads in the NFL is where it gets you. What up, Alex? We got Zach Ertz, Tyler Higbee, or Dallas Goedert. Ooh, that's a good one. Zach Ertz has been getting the most targets, but again, they're going up against Dallas. So it's one it's a scary situation as far as just anyone going up against that Dallas defense right now, especially the Cardinals, nonetheless. Dallas Goedert's just the talent's there. I think out of all of them, Dallas Goedert is the one who has the most potential, and I stand by thinking the Eagles offense, the passing game is going to be what is going to take off this week. So I'm going to go Dallas Goedert there. But but I would also say in your own, because this is your team, obviously, like Zach Ertz, I think you can make a really strong argument to start Ertz there. But I think Goedert, this is going to be one of the week where he really comes out. And I think he gets a touchdown at least. Last game that we had here to Cincinnati versus the Rams. I said that I don't remember what I said was the biggest headline. Oh, the Christian Watson I said was the biggest dynasty headline. Joe Burrow, I guess more redraft than dynasty, but I think they rushed him back. And I do want to clarify by saying I am not nervous if I'm a Joe Burrow owner in dynasty. The talent's there. I don't think that's the issue. And I'm also not nervous if I have Jamar Chase or T Higgins. But I do think that's a situation to monitor, and I do think that the receivers will bounce back sooner rather than later, even this week. But as far as Joe Burrow, he's someone who for this season I'm nervous about. All right, we just had a trade go down. A couple trades go down in our DBD Dan and I's main dynasty league. Let's kind of break these down. Ooh, this one's a big one. Dan just did a trade. Okay, let's go. I'm gonna break it down here. I'm gonna let Dan rebuttal. So I'm not saying this behind Dan's back or nothing. I don't even know what the trade is. I really didn't even look at it, but I'm gonna give you my honest opinion. I'm gonna let him respond when he gets on here. All right, so he gave up Jerry Judy, Matt Breida, and Antonio Gibson, and he got back Joshua Kelly, smash start this week, uh, a 2024 second, a 2024 third, and Khalil Shakur. Obviously, Khalil Shakur he's all right. It's one of those guys who you hope they turn out, but um, I don't know. I love Joshua Kelly there. I think he has standalone value too in Dynasty. Obviously, Austin Eckler's getting up there in age, but I think that's a very even trade. Jerry Judy also, I think, has the biggest upside out of everyone in there. 2024 seconds going to be a great value. So I think Dan actually that's a very fair trade. I think that's a good trade there. For I mean, that's crazy though. Jerry Judy in there, but Joshua Kelly for the short term. If Dan wants to get some wins early in the season, he wants to kind of start. I'm gonna go. I think it's an all right move. Do you think Russell Wilson or Sam Howell? Oh, good one. I like that. I'm a big Sam Howell guy. I really am. Uh, at the same time, we got who's it Russell Wilson against Miami. I feel like in those big games, Russell Wilson just doesn't come through. And then it's Commanders versus Bills. Uh, I think I'm going Russell Wilson. I'm not thrilled about it. I'm gonna go Russell Wilson here. I think safer play, but I think that the Commanders game, depending on it, that's really a huge like the Bills. That's a name that is one of the bigger ones. Sam Howell's going to be going up against. I feel like early in his career, and I believe it's on the road. Let me see. No, it's at home. I guess it's at home against the Bills. I'm going Russell Wilson still. What if I have Burrow in fantasy? If you have him in redraft, you're obviously just holding on to him at this point. It's just something you want to monitor, potentially being able to flip him soon. And I think he still has so much value as far as like trades go. So I think you could be looking to trade Joe Burrow in redraft. Let's see where they have yeah, they have Sam Howell at 21, Russell Wilson at 15. Yeah, so yeah, I still think we're going Russell Wilson there. Appreciate you, Tyler. Tyler is a great resource on Twitter. He answers numerous start sit questions. He has a Patreon as well too. That is I'm sure a great resource for everyone there. So uh, check that out. Tyler FF Creator on Twitter. Yeah, it's unreal. Honestly, I was if I could even go through some of them on there, it's unreal the amount of start sit questions Tyler gets. Make sure when you do it though, make sure to give all the details of your league, your situation, to give it the best chance of getting answered there. Sky Moore or Robert Woods. Ugh. Another tough one. I think I'm going. Ugh, ah, I think Sky Moore. Sky Moore. I'm not a huge Sky Moore guy, but I'm also not in on Robert Woods. Gotcha, Nick. Let's pull it up here. We'll be on here every week answering. We're gonna try to do, not try. We are going to do, uh, at least 3 episodes a week. A live Sundays we're gonna do, and I will say Dan and I we do play softball. So depending what time that game is, it could alter the times that we do go live. But we will always be live at some point on Sundays. We'll give a heads up at least the day before. We'll do a kind of a news and Thursday game update, and then a complete breakdown as well. Dan and one of our other league mates are going back and forth about the trade he just made in there. Like I said, it's crazy with Jerry Judy just knowing what his value was just a couple weeks ago, but I mean Joshua Kelly also kind of shot up rankings there. I think also something that I in my head I assume people know about, but maybe they don't, especially Dynasty, especially is using trade calculators. I like Keep Trade Cut. Those are not values that I think you should go by 100%, but it is a good spot to kind of see like where current value is to get an idea. But then you also have to take into like what your feelings are, what your team looks like, what you're able to give up, what the other team needs and what they're gonna look like. If you, I don't say as much to don't like be like, oh, if I give them this player, they're gonna be loaded. If it helps you, it helps you. But it is something to kind of look at too, as far as being able to compete for a championship. So I say go to Keep Trade Cut as a general base point, and I think it's somewhere to start because then you can see if something's like completely off balance, and you can also if you're 50-50, it can help out there. And then for redraft, there are trade value charts. Same thing. It's a little more annoying because you have to go down and add them up, but same situation where it gives you a general idea of what a player's value is. Because I know when I started Dynasty, the number one thing that took me forever to figure out was players' values and especially pick values because that's something that you never deal with until you get into a dynasty or a redraft league. Let's see. I'll pull up the other trade that we had uh, in here this morning. Is not as big as that one. It was Jared Goff for Justin Ross and a 2026 first round pick. I mean, Jared Goff for a win now team, I think is a great pick. Anytime you can get a first in Dynasty is great. First, and that's what I'll say too, is you never know where that first is going to lie. First can be all over the place. They can be like you could think they're a guaranteed 1-1 and they can end up being 1-5. You could think they're a team that's going to win the championship and they could be by the end of the year trying to get a top pick. Obviously, if they don't have their pick, it's a little different, but they could very easy well be middle of the pack to one of the worst teams. Injuries can flip a team so fast, and even just situations and off years, and there's no guarantees in fantasy football. I'll say that much. Yeah, the argument going not argument, but one of our league mates is saying that Joshua Kelly is not worth that much. But I disagree there. I think Joshua Kelly has a lot of value. I mean, a lot is not the correct term I should be using for anything that doesn't really tell you anything. But uh, I think he has more value than he's given him credit for. I don't think I think he's being really overhyped for a short term. It's again, it's reactionary. A lot of fantasy football is very reactionary at this point, I feel like. I mean, they're playing like Star Wars in the hallway. Yeah, that trade came down to Judy, and if you think he's gonna turn it around at some point, but at some point you gotta kind of just do what you got to do. What Dan and I are gonna do too, we've been saying it for a while. We haven't had a chance. We're gonna upload our entire dynasty team to Madden, or not our entire, but like a complete offense, and we're gonna play against each other and see how that goes. I remember back in the day, I used to do that all the time. I'd just create like a franchise league and be starting. Uh, just put my whole fantasy team in there and see where we go. Josh Jacobs or uh, Kelly from the Chargers. Yeah. See, that's Josh Jacobs, he has been atrocious to start the year. I do think this is a game where he's gonna come back, and I don't think in good conscience I could ever tell you to bench Josh Jacobs. But Joshua Kelly is someone who I think is gonna have a huge week as well. I feel like there's another person that you could probably switch out for Joshua Kelly, and I would feel better about it. I would find a way to start them both. I don't think you can bench Josh Jacobs right now, just knowing what his skill levels be, what he's been in the past, and especially with the matchup this week. So I'm gonna say Josh Jacobs, but I'm also gonna tell you to find a way to get Joshua Kelly in your lineup for this week. Shout out Duncan. The weather it's changing. It feels like football. It's like as soon as football started, it just like fall hit, getting the hot coffees now, throwing on red zone. I need to get red zone, honestly. I haven't really been at home for the game, so I haven't had to, but I don't know if I can just watch one game for the 1 o'clock, especially when the Eagles don't play. All right. I mentioned at Tyler FF Creator on Twitter. He gets so many start and sit questions. Like you mentioned, more than he's can probably even answer in that amount of time physically, even if he answers them nonstop until the game. So I'm gonna go through some of them. It could give good insight for y'all. Let's see. Do you trust Aaron Jones this week? I agree with Tyler. He said no. I said no. Tua and Geno Smith AQB wide receivers with Tua. I don't even understand. I'm gonna skip that one. Uh, DJ Moore or Najee Harris, and then Rashad White or Josh Kelly. I'm going Josh Kelly and DJ Moore in that situation. Uh, Tyler, for reference, gave Rashad White. I think Josh Kelly there. I don't trust White. White's been great though. Rashad White, I wasn't as high on him going into the year, but Rashad White is someone who I think is not going to do great this week, but is someone who's gonna be good. I thought Sean Tucker would have more of a role throughout this season, but I it's so early, and I think he was undrafted, so obviously he still has potential. But I thought Rashad White wouldn't look as good as he looks right now. Yo, DVD Gatsby, come through. Come on, say what up to the people. DVD Gatsby gives the best picks too, so I'll ask for his advice as well. I don't know if you guys can hear the music in the hallway. They're listening to like GTA. It legitimately sounds like GTA background music. All right, Gatsby, what picks are we giving? Okay, sounds good. Throw your picks in the chat, answering them up until game time. Philly's looking like they're gonna wrap up the playoff spot soon. What is magic number 2 now? Man, that weather in uh New York looks horrible. I think it's in New York. Is it in New York? Either way. Yeah, it's in New York. Gatsby does give perfect advice. I don't know if you could hear him purring though. He's excited to be here. He's a big fan of the camera. Now. All right, let's see here. Let's go to some more of the questions, start sit questions that we have on there. Nico Collins is trending. Why is that? Let's see. People are just asking. They're all start sit questions. Everyone has Nico Collins in there. Here's the thing: if you have a start and sit question with Nico Collins in there, you know who you're starting. You're starting Nico Collins every time. Almost every single time you're starting Nico Collins there. I say that much. Hayden Hurst or Zach Ertz? I'm gonna go Zach Ertz there. I do like Hayden Hurst, but Zach Ertz has just been so good to start the year. Uh, the targets are there, and that's what you got to look for, which is shocking to me. But I love Zach Ertz as a past Eagle there. Put your claws away. Let's find Tyler FF. What other start sits? I want to find some that he hasn't answered yet. It's up to 324. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how he does it. That's a lot. I'm gonna keep scrolling to the ones he didn't answer, unless he's answered all. No, here we go. I'm gonna say if he got through all of them. Start 2 in PPR: Brian Robinson, Rashad White, Ramondre Stevenson, Raheem Mostert. I'm starting Brian Robinson and Ramondre Stevenson. Stevenson. I know he hasn't had the best start to the year, but he's great. I'm a big uh, Ramondre Stevenson guy. Mixon, Mostert, James Cook, Tyler Lockett, full PPR, 2 running back and a flex. I'm starting Mixon, of course. I'm going to start James Cook and then Tyler Lockett in the flex. All right, we got 2 wide receivers: Chase, Pittman, DK. I'm going. That's an interesting one. DK with the injury. I'm gonna go Chase and Pittman there, and then Higbee or Ertz. I think I'm going Ertz. Joshua Kelly, Rashad White, Puka Nakua, 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, 1 flex. Well, that's only 3 players, so I think you have your answer. 2 spots, 1 running back, and 1 flex. Jerome Ford, Najee Harris, Jerry Jeudy, Tank Dell. I'm going, I think, Najee Harris over Jerome Ford this week. Oh, hello. I'm going Najee Harris and then Jerry Jeudy. And then I'm going Jerry Jeudy as the other one there. Not thrilled about that lineup, though. Start 2: Metcalf, Higgins, Shaheed. I'm starting probably Higgins and Metcalf, but Shaheed's been good. I'm not nervous about Higgins, though. DBD Daisy's pick of the day. I don't know where DBD Daisy is. Probably under the bed somewhere. DBD Gatsby's pick of the day is going to be Kyle Pitts anytime touchdown. Here's a question: Joshua Kelly or Antonio Gibson moving forward in Dynasty? I think I'm going Joshua Kelly there. Gibson, he has his opportunities, but I think Brian Robinson's starting to run away with it there. Madison or James Cook, PPR? I'm going James Cook. Kendre Miller over Roshan Johnson? Yes, absolutely. Kendre Miller, Gainwell, or Warren, PPR flex. Already starting Najee. I'm starting Kendre there out of those 3. Two wide receivers: Thielen, Kirk, Elijah Moore, and Kendrick Bourne. I'm going Elijah Moore and I think Christian Kirk. Sit 1: Kendre, Joshua Kelly, Garrett Wilson. Ooh, I think my brain, like my gut, tells me to say Garrett Wilson, but no, I can't. I'm probably benching Kendre there. Jerome Ford, Brees Hall, or Drake London? Brees Hall. I think Brees Hall is going to have an amazing game today. I think they're going to have to run the ball a lot. Fumbles is the only thing that could cause issues, but I don't know. But I don't know. Kendre Miller, Craig Reynolds, Kendre. People don't be scared to start Kendre this week. Seems like people are nervous about it. Don't be. He's about to go crazy. Choose two: James Cook, Mike Evans, Jameer Gibbs. Ooh, I think I'm going Gibbs and Evans. I'm probably going Gibbs and Evans there, but those are three great options to have. Pick one: Nico Collins, George Pickens, Michael Pittman, Jordan Addison. What is this? A 4-team league? I'm going Nico Collins. I think Michael Pittman is an option there, but I'm going Nico Collins just with the some semi unknown of Gardner Minshew. I think Pittman's definitely still should be a start in most leagues, but I think Nico Collins for sure. Pacheco or Watson for flex? Probably Watson, especially with Pacheco's injury. But Watson has the injury too, so hopefully there's other options or that we get clarity soon for you there. Which three? Kendre Miller, Rashi Rice, Damian Pierce, Laporta, Jameson Williams, or not Jameson, Jay Williams, who is Javonte Williams, Roshan. Let's see. Kendre Miller, probably Javonte Williams, and probably Roshan. One running back, one flex. Gibbs, Cook, Kelly, Addison, Pittman. For running back, I'm gonna go Gibbs. No, I'm gonna go Kelly. I'm going Kelly for running back, and then I'm going Pittman for. Actually, no, I'm going Gibbs and man, that's tough. I might go Gibbs and Kelly, but I could also probably go Kelly and Pittman there. All right, I'm gonna give it till 11:40. Any last minute ones, throw it in there. We've been going for an hour here, and then I'll also answer on Twitter. So if anyone else has questions, throw it up on Twitter. Pick two: James Conner, Rashad White, Joshua Kelly, Javonte Williams, Zach Moss. Going Joshua Kelly and probably James Conner. I think James Conner's in that every week starter range. Drake London, DJ Moore, Pickens, Judy, or Treylon Burks. Pick two. I think I'm going London. And let's go Pickens. Dobbs or Pickett. Yikes. And he knows it. He put like my reaction was the emoji he used. I think Pickett. You gotta go Pickett with Dobbs against Dallas. Zay Flowers or Lockett. That's a good one. I'm going Zay Flowers there. Javonte, Lockett, or DJ Moore. I think Lockett. All right. There's only one person in here. You know what that means. It's time to peace out. Get ready for the games. Any questions, throw it in the chat. If not, see y'all next time. Peace.